First off, I started by making a circle on the top portion of the styro head using a marker. You can adjust the size of the circle depending on your preference because this will be the hole in which our brushes will go into later on. When you're happy with the circle, you can go ahead and dig a hole. This process may be very messy, so I suggest you keep a basket bin where you can put all the excess styro so it won't go floating around your room. Eventually, I decided to switch using a small kitchen knife because the styro head is slightly harder and thick inside. You can use a brush to test if the hole is deep enough to hold them up. Then you can dig more depending on how deep you want the hole to be. I was expecting it to be hollow, but to my surprise, it's actually really compact down there. It took me quite a while than I expected to really dig a hole into it. I decided to cut down the neck portion of the styro head even when I was hesitant that it may result to instability issues, but I went through cutting it anyway. I just made sure to level the base using a cutter so the head would stand independently. Next, I used some Japanese papers from my craft supply, which costs really cheap at about 2 pesos each, and for this video I only used 2 pieces. I crumpled the paper to add volume and texture to the paper and loosely rolled them up. Again, using a marker, I drew a line that marked the hair portion of the head, as this will act as the guide for when we attach the hair. And then, using a hot glue, I randomly glued the crumpled paper on the areas within the hairline, making sure that they're loosely placed and crumpled to create that curly Greek hair look that we're going for. You can also use a regular paper glue, but unfortunately mine ran out, so I'm just using hot glue instead. As you can see, I'm done with almost half the head, and this is how it should look like. Continue doing the same on the other side of the head and you should come up with something like this. By then, the hair should look really full. Next, grab the plastic cover and tape it down to an evenly flat and stable surface because this is where we will be working on the air dry clay with. You can use a chopping board or whatever surface you want, but in my case, I am using our floor. First, open up the air dry clay packet. Here I'm using Jovi air dry clay from Shopee, which I will link below. Also, if you want a separate up-close review on this craft material, comment down below. Remember to work in small portions with air dry clay because as the label reads, it'll literally dry when exposed to air. So after getting a small portion, store the rest in an airtight container and don't leave it open while you're working. Basically, we will be covering the entire head with air dry clay. This will make the styro head become cement-like. If you want to make it for yourself as well, make sure you finish this video so you'll know what to expect when working with this medium. Okay, so now I started molding the face on the most prominent feature, which is the nose. Next, you can work with the eyes. In my case, I used my fingers to shape it and work on the crevices and deeper areas of the eyes. You can also use a toothpick or a stick to really get into the tinier details. At first, making the clay stick to the styrofoam was really challenging because it kept sliding off. But when I added water and massaged it into the styro, like as if I'm somehow blending it in, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I eventually got the hang of it and was able to really make it stick to the styrofoam. I worked from the nose to the forehead to sort of emphasize the structure of the face first. And you won't be needing a lot of clay because the styrofoam head already has the shape. The clay we're adding is just to emphasize the face features and make it look like a reference photo. As you can see, I only work with small amounts of clay. I went on shaping the entire face. I added more clay, toned down some areas that seemed to bulge until I was finally happy with how the face looks like. And actually, this is my first time to use air dry clay, so I'm sort of like learning while I'm doing the entire process. Finally, for the hair, I wrote down thin sheets of the clay and laid it gently on top of the crumpled paper, making sure that it don't flatten the volumized structure of the crumpled paper. And then I started to shape it into curls. Basically, the crumpled paper we did earlier was to add bulk into the hair without using so much clay. And that is it for today's tutorial. I hope you guys had fun, because I definitely had a lot of fun myself. By the way, if you're new to this channel and you like what you see, please show your support by clicking the subscribe button down below. Also, if you have some DIY requests or questions you want to ask me, you guys can follow me on my social media accounts and drop me a message, or you can just simply comment down below. And I will see you